In 1940, the German army successfully used the cutting-edge Blitzkrieg strategy to smash through Western Europe into France, utilising the proficiency of their armoured units and aircraft working together to wipe France out of the war. Nazi tactics were of course impressive, and Allied reactions were slow and riddled with mistakes. And yet, there is one weapon that the German forces used that is not often talked about. Back in Germany, there was a new product on the shelves of any good chemist, if you wanted a little boost. Also other stuff like treating narcolepsy. It was called Pervitin and was manufactured by the pharmaceutical company Temmler, which interestingly is still around today. Pervitin, however, isn't, and that's because it was a powerful methamphetamine. Given its use as a performance enhancer, a treatment for anxiety, and the effects of lessened empathy while in use, the German command during World War II thought it would be a good idea to give it to soldiers. Fatigue could be combated for a 24-hour army, and the surprisingly low morale of the German army could be turned around to make sure that the soldiers had the courage to charge into battle when needed. Pervitin could make a soldier feel like a super soldier, and the idea was that if they felt like one, they would act like one. And they loved the stuff. They would write home to their families apologising for not writing often, but simply asking for more Pervitin. Pilots in particular were very fond of Pervitin, so much so that it eventually became known amongst soldiers as Stuka tablets or Hermann Göring pills. And while most would consider the recklessness that one could feel a side effect, it was considered a positive trait for the army to have. When there were dangerous tasks to be carried out that needed speed and efficiency, the hesitation of ordinary men would simply not do. Indeed, some modern historians believe that without Pervitin, the ruthless speed and effectiveness of the Wehrmacht and Luftwaffe would not have been achieved. So, as a drugged up and permanently high German army and air force plunged into battle with immense speed, it did seem to be working. Unfortunately, taking what we now simply call meth pretty much constantly isn't the best idea, and it began to show. Coming off the Pervitin high, a soldier could find himself unable to perform even to average standards, for longer than the high had lasted, not to mention the health problems that followed. Even a small number of Pervitin-related deaths were reported. And so powerful was the high that there were even reports of soldiers attacking their officers in a drug-induced rage. In one account, an SS company surrendered without resistance to Soviet forces, who found out that they had used all their ammunition the night before, firing at nothing because they had the delusion that they were under attack. It turned out to be particularly worrisome for the Luftwaffe, who saw the number of accidents reported soar, not massively surprising considering all the pilots were high. By the end of 1940, the German army had phased it out of nearly all use, although it was still considered effective for special forces to use in moderation. This restriction was lessened during Operation Barbarossa, the Nazi invasion of Soviet Russia, but that didn't end brilliantly and much of the German army got addicted. And of course, given its effect on empathy, it is thought that many atrocities committed by ordinary soldiers in the Wehrmacht were, at least part, due to the effects of Pervitin. That's it for this week, I'm afraid. Sorry it's such a short video, but there wasn't too much to say about the subject, and I wanted to keep it interesting. Hopefully it's still a fun little video. Okay, perhaps not fun given the context, but okay, we'll just stick with interesting. Do leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already to hear more from us. Have a wonderful week.